Welcome to level 3, the game of allies. Now that you've played the game of the gifts and the game of opportunities, we're moving into the more challenging realm of having to deal with other conscious entities, other people. And again, this comes back to the idea that we are affected by other people, situations. They affect our emotional states. Our emotional states affect the way we think. They affect the way we move. And so by simply looking after your social relationships or changing the way you interact with strangers, which is often something we have to deal with, we drastically increase the likelihood that we are going to live in higher emotional states and therefore increase and change many positive things in our life. So after that very unfortunate interaction at the gym, I really started to think about, why did this happen? How am I responsible for this? Because I think we're all responsible for any interaction that we have, whether it's a small amount or whether it's a large amount. But in any interaction, we have a container of energy between two people. And the question is, did you look after your half of the interaction? So when we're in stranger mode, we're not. Everybody's kind of just showing up a little bit. We're not actually meeting at the middle. And there's lots of room to not understand one another. So I'd watched this fantastic TED Talk called You Are Contagious by Vanessa Van Edwards. And it made this point that our gestures, our posture, our facial expression, or what we wear, our energy, all need to line up if we want to communicate clearly, if we want to be understood, and if we want to have the kind of social interactions that really feed us. And I realized I needed to be more mindful. I needed to take responsibility for my half of any social interaction, because somebody has to go first. And in a world full of strangers who are all operating in stranger mode, it's our responsibility to pull ourselves out of it and see if simply being more present, being more obvious, can make it easier for others to step into that space as well. And so people say, well, what if they still treat me like garbage? And so people say, well, what if they still treat me poorly? What if I show up and I do all this work and then someone reacts poorly to me? What I noticed was that I stopped getting upset because I realized that I had shown up fully and authentically. And then therefore, it had absolutely nothing to do with me, with the way they treated me or the social interaction. And I was able to more easily let things go. So how you play the game of allies is understanding your half of the container. And the first question you ask is, who do I want to be? What do I want to lead with? What are my favorite parts of my personality that I would like to make obvious in the way I walk, in the way I move, in the way I speak, in the way I interact with people, anybody? And then the second part is, how do I show those things? How do I make it obvious? And then the third part is, you start to notice, do other people more frequently treat me in a way that aligns with who I believe myself to be? And then you can take that as feedback. Now, obviously, some people have some biases that are really unfortunate, but in general, this does increase our likelihood of positive interactions. And somebody has to go first, and you're the one who cares about holistic high performance, so why not you?